We've waited 77 years for this. The men's singles champion at Wimbledon 2013, Andy Murray.
Well, it was fantastic. It was absolutely brilliant performance, an amazing day for Andy Murray, but also an incredible day for British tennis and for Britain. It was an absolute privilege to be able to watch it. Well, the noise was incredibly intense because I think every point was an exciting point. There was so many breaks and breakbacks that I think the crowd was just on tenterhooks the whole way through. I mean, the Royal Box, we were jumping up and down, shouting, hugging. I mean, it was incredibly emotional because we waited for so long for a Wimbledon champion. Well, that's right. It felt like the Olympics. It felt like one of those moments, when the whole country's watching and there's just an amazing sportsman who's dedicated his life and has wanted to win this so badly, and then just producing a performance that was exquisite. He kept producing shots that just took your breath away, and it was a complete thrill.
Well, none other than the British Prime Minister at courtside to witness Andy Murray's victory. And gentlemen, of course, if you have the top dog in your country rooting for you, then I'm very sure Andy Murray was willing to die on court that day.
Well, we're already hearing they're thinking of making him a knight. I don't know.
Well, he deserves it. There are people who have been knighted for achieving
lesser things. But I think, like they say, success has many fathers.
Oh yes, of course, very big fathers for that matter.
Especially when you've waited for this for so long. And Andy Murray has been in so many finals. In fact, of all the guys in the top 4 bracket, he has played and lost more finals than any of them. I guess why that explains why the British people, just want to celebrate this. I just hope he doesn't have a hangover. He just quickly forget about the celebration and think of the next Grand Slam.
So far he has had 2 Grand Slams. He might just be thinking about making it to the world. That's the next step for him, making it to the world #1, which means that he has to maintain some form of consistency. At least he has to take the #1 spot for one reason or the other. But then, of course, Andy Murray, having been in so many finals and lost in so many of them, I think the one particular factor that people are not reckoning with is the fact that he has a different kind of coach in the person of Ivan Lendl.
Yeah, I was going to talk about Ivan Lendl. Ever since he coached, he started to coach Andy Murray. Andy Murray has actually improved as a player. Basically, what he's done is been able to turn a very good player into a great player. Before Ivan Lendl took over, Andy Murray had been in 3 different finals. He lost all without winning a set. So what we've seen so far is that Ivan Lendl has been able to actually stress technique and strategy, has been able to improve his all-round game. And if you can recall, Andy Murray, Ivan Lendl, back in the days, lost his first 4 finals in the Grand Slam.
Just like Andy Murray, similar experience. And I think he's been able to, that emotional help he's been able to offer to Andy. He's been there, he has seen it. It's not just about the game. Like Tyler said, all the things he added to the game, but even the emotional aspect. Look, this is the moment you don't crack, even when things are not going
your way.
The final we saw, and Andy Murray that we used to know would have cracked. But he kept on going, even at a point when it looked like Djokovic was coming back in that final set, he held his nerve and went on to win. Of
course, there are so much more we can say about Andy Murray's coach and Ivan Lendl, and I'm sure Andy Murray also had a thing or two to say about that gentleman who used to have the likes of John McEnroe and Jimmy Connors to contend with in his day. But then, of course, Andy Murray has had Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and of course his victim this time around, Novak Djokovic, to contend with. Now let's hear what the 2 gentlemen had to say about this very historic victory.
I worked so hard in that last game. It was the hardest few points I've had to play in my life. And yeah, it was a different match to the US Open, and winning Wimbledon is I still can't believe it. Can't get my head around that. can't believe it.
The line is that he was a better player in decisive moments. I was both second and third set 4-2 up and dropped the serve in those games and just allowed him to come back for no reason. I mean, he was getting some incredible shots on the stretch and running down the point, running down the drop shots, and he was all over the court and he played fantastic tennis, no question about it. He deserved to win.
Well, Novak Djokovic being gentlemanly enough to give it to the champion he deserved to win. Well, if not for the fact that Andy Murray was playing on home soil and there were so much British expectations for this particular victory, then I would have said the female event was even more spectacular, more sensational. Well, gentlemen, at the beginning of the tournament, I would have bet the rest of my salary for this year that Serena Williams was going to defend her Wimbledon crown, but it wasn't to be, and instead,
or at worst, maybe
made it to the final,
or maybe Maria Sharapova.
Yes, but I mean, you remember Black Wednesday when all the top stars were
just
breaking
crashing,
their legs,
either injuries, poor form.
One way or the other.
On day two, it was crazy. On day two, all of those big stars just
and then Sabina Lisicki now comes in from nowhere and blasts Serena out of the game, and then we thought, okay, that was the direction in which the female crown was going, and then lo and behold, a certain Marion Bartoli, whose best showing probably in the majors has been a quarterfinal placing, and then she comes in from nowhere and then sweeps the world off its feet.
Well, she's unheralded, but she's been in the mix for a while. Yeah. She's world number 7 as we speak. She's won 8 WTA titles, 6 ITF titles. I mean, not a Grand Slam, but of course this is the second time she's playing the final. Actually, she lost one final.
To Venus Williams.
Yes,
that was in 2007. I actually think that experience came to be because Sabina Lisicki has never been in a final before.
At all.
Her best results in the Wimbledon was in 2011 against Sharapova in the semi-finals, and I think it actually showed in the final that big stage got to her. I think she froze majorly on when you see a player start crying in the middle of a set, then you can tell the pressure has really got into her.
Even when she defeated some of those top seeds, when they look like, especially the one against Agnieszka Radwanska, at some point when she was trying to come back into that game, you could see on her face that she was almost losing it. And I agree with Tyra, because the experience of having played a final worked in favor of Marion Bartoli.
Well, then let's take a look at how that women's final of Wimbledon panned out.
That is very impressive, given what's just gone on in the last 15 minutes.
40 love.
The opening point was big, but this is the biggest.
James Bartoli.
She is unique. She's one of the colourful characters on the women's tour. And you can add to it that she is Wimbledon champion as well.
And the ladies singles champion for 2013, Marion Bartoli.
Second time in a Wimbledon final, runner-up the first, champion the second. And she gets to hold that famous Venus Rosewater dish in her hands.